Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday. Just a couple days away from another Seahawks game day. And I know at this point nothing really matters that much, but we still gotta play the games, right? We still gotta go out there, put our best foot forward, try to get some wins, try to impress people, try to leave a good impression on the organization going into next season with some of these players, maybe with some of these coaches too. Obviously, I mean, we all have our preferences. We all think what we think about some of these guys, but as players and as coaches who know that they are in some ways playing for either their current job or a future job, they got to keep performing. So we're going to keep on chugging along, get through these last three games, and then see where we stand. So, injury report Friday. We have the final injury report. It's not yet a full picture, but what we do know is actually pretty good. So, John Radigan's out, and I think we knew that. I don't believe the team has officially announced it yet, but it sounds like he's out for the season and possibly next season with the ACL. That's what I'm hearing. We don't know for sure yet, but I don't think we're going to see Radigan again this year. And the only other player with an injury designation is Blessuan Austin, questionable with a hip injury. So that's that's pretty clean. Now, Blessuan Austin figured to have a non-trivial role in this game if DJ Reed doesn't get off the COVID list, which we don't know about yet. He's not as of right now, but Blessuan Austin would have figured in for a big role had if DJ Reed remains out. So if Austin is out and Reed is out, we got John Reed. John Reed, not DJ Reed, John Reed. And maybe a little bit of Nigel Warrior gets in there as well. We'll see. But that is it. Russell Wilson not with an injury designation, so he will definitely play. Al Woods will play. Gabe Jackson will play. DK Metcalf will play. Freddie Swain, Alex Collins, Ethan Posick, nothing to really worry about there. So all good news on that front. And on top of that, while we're here, we also have Travis Homer coming off the COVID list. So we know we're going to get him back. And as much as Travis Homer is of minor importance on this team, he does play and he does have a role. And I think he's done it fairly well this year. Pierre-Olivier Lestage also came off the COVID list, but he obviously doesn't play. That doesn't really matter nearly as much. So, all in all, as of right now, this is about as good as we could hope for. This is a relatively clean injury report to be having at the end of the season. Late December, if this is all you're missing, then you can count yourself a little bit lucky. Now, there are obviously all the players who are on IR and some of the players who we may miss because of COVID, but this is good. As for the guys like the DJ Reeds of the world and the Will Disleys and the Kerry Hyders, we don't know yet, and we may not know until Sunday morning. So Corbin Smith has this on Twitter. Carroll says results from today's tests, which they won't find out about tomorrow morning, will be telling whether or not the Seahawks will get more players back in time for Sunday's game. So we know we got Lockett back. We know we got Homer back. We know we got Collins back. And at this point, if we could get DJ Reed back, I think that that would be about as good a situation as we could hope for at this point. He's very crucial, especially if Austin is less than 100%, which seems to be the case. Obviously, guys like Kerry Hyder are nice to have. Maybe Brandon Shell too, although at this point I think Brandon Shell should be the planned backup, even if he is healthy. So time will tell, but I think that if you take a look at the timelines here, we have a good chance to get everyone back except for Will Dissly, because Will Dissly was just added the other day. I don't think we'll have Dissly, but I feel pretty good about DJ Reed and Kerry Hyder and Brandon Shell. It's mostly just a gut feeling, but unless they actually got a pretty bad case of it, it seems like they should be able to play. So pretty good news over here. Now let's take a look at the Bears situation. They actually have some very notable things here. 3 players for the Bears are out and 3 are questionable. Andy Dalton, we'll come back to that in a second, is out. Xavier Crawford, defensive back, is out. And the immortal Jason Peters, offensive tackle, is out. That is no small thing. That is significant. And why it's so significant. Not obviously Jason Peters speaks for itself, but Justin Fields is questionable and is not expected to start this game. So that means the Bears are down to Nick Foles, who reportedly will be starting this game for the Chicago Bears. Also questionable but likely to play are Marquise Goodwin, wide receiver, and Eddie Goldman, nose tackle. I expect both those guys to play and play effectively, so not really thinking about them. But what I am thinking about is this QB situation where Justin Fields looks like he may be active, but he may be a backup, and we're getting the great Nick Foles. Very, very unexpected and kind of interesting. Obviously, at this point, anything that happens to the Seahawks on the field seems kind of secondary to what is going on off the field, what will be going on this offseason. But this is not a wrinkle that I was anticipating, and it's hard to know exactly what it's going to mean. So, honestly, I kind of wanted to play Justin Fields. I think his style of play is one that can give you more opportunities for turnovers. It can give you an opportunity to really take over the game on defense. A guy like an Andy Dalton, not necessarily going to give you a ton of opportunities to take the ball away unless you put a ton of pressure on him, which we typically don't do. I felt like Fields was a guy who would make more unforced errors, whereas Dalton, he'll make mistakes. He's not a great quarterback. He's not even really a good quarterback at this point. But I think he does a better job of avoiding the unforced errors. And I kind of feel the same way about Nick Foles. I have certainly seen Nick Foles make a lot of bad mistakes in his career, but mostly it seems like it happens when he's under pressure. And our pass rush it played pretty well against the Rams, but overall it's not very good. So the Nick Foles thing, obviously we haven't seen him this year, so it's hard to say where he is in his career, where he is in terms of his ability. We don't have a recent sample size to fall back on right now with Nick Foles, but I think that playing him is probably preferable to Dalton, but I would have rather played Justin Fields because Justin Fields seems to be more boom or bust. The one thing I can say is that Foles isn't somebody who's going to kill you with his legs. And this Seahawks team, I think, is they're at least a little bit weak to something like that potentially happening to them. So at least we don't have to worry about that if Fields doesn't play. But the Nick Foles thing is interesting. And I don't know if it works to our advantage. I don't know if it works to our disadvantage. I think this should be okay. I like the fact that he's immobile, but I kind of wanted to play Fields. I can't lie. He's just somebody who's going to make more mistakes. Playing against Justin Fields, I would have felt pretty good about, like, this could be our 3 or 4 turnover game. We could really just tee off on Fields. Foles, I don't know if Foles is going to be that guy. So I am going to go ahead and get out of here. That is your injury report. Pretty good news for the Seahawks overall. See you guys later tonight in stream. Merry Christmas. Go Hawks.